I think it went really well. I really liked the stuff she said.
What do you think?
She was very genuine. Well, okay, I really liked when she talked about the 3 virtues she lives by.
Yeah.
And how she kind of discovered that through the school. That was really deep. And I think that those would be kind of good things to lead off of if I maybe get the other students to talk about that.
The film I'm making is basically about Life Learning Academy, which is a school on Treasure Island for students that have not done well in their school in the past or have come from bad circumstances, come from families that haven't had support, and they end up without a hope for the future.
Well, student filmmakers really need to be aware of their goals for their project, and they want to have an end product that is going to garner support for a cause or bring attention to some organization or an issue that you can maybe move your audience to social change.
I really want people who see the film to associate themselves with these students and realize how they're not any better than these students. It's just the circumstances that they're in.
They might just already feel like you're just coming from a high school class and you're a teenager, and that comes with it, a sort of stereotype about, recklessness.
And where are you in terms of your education?
I'm a senior
At
Mountain View High School.
At Mountain View. So, okay.
They might think you haven't really done your research. They might assume that you haven't done all you could possibly do to get, like in Anya's situation, to find out about the school beforehand, its organization, to talk to people in the community, to really research. I think some people are kind of surprised. You show up with a Panasonic 100B camera and remote audio and some really interesting questions that are thought-provoking, and I think people are, wow, I wasn't really expecting all of this.
The thing I'm the most nervous and scared for are the interviews, for sure. I'm definitely nervous about going in there and saying, I don't know you, but can you please tell me something about your life, something to help my film? That's scary for me, but I'm going to do it. I'm just a little scared.
Building trust is hugely important. That's the most important aspect of successful documentary making, is trust building. And that usually takes time and social skills and being able to sell your project and yourself.
Even to get on the phone and call an adult stranger and ask for an interview, that is a very challenging thing. It's cold call sales. Now, some people have that personality, where they just love to gab, and they not too intimidated. They'll probably go into sales or be baristas, if not filmmakers.
You really need to be honest and out front with your subjects of the film in terms of how they're going to be portrayed and your goals as a filmmaker, so they're not, really upset afterwards.
Are you happy with it? Or?
No, it just sounds very good.
Yeah.
It's really important not to sacrifice your primary relationships with your subjects in the story. You need to make sure that you have these sort of verbal agreements and you've given them an expectation.
I definitely am going to make sure to be very certain to ask the students, are you comfortable with me filming this? Is it okay that I'm here with the camera? Thank you so much for letting me do this.
That's a really huge part of trust building, is convincing the would-be subjects or interviewees or artists that you might be profiling that you're not out to exploit anybody, you're out to showcase their work. But if you don't do an adequate job of trust building, you're at risk of being accused of exploitation.
You might be making choices because you feel it's more powerful, and overall you're creating a message in the most effective way that you can.
It's going to be a hard decision if someone shares something personal with me on the camera, and I don't know how I would approach a situation. What if afterwards they say, well, I shared that with you, but I don't want that to be in the film?
In some cases, you need to really inform your subjects about the implications of being in your film, knowing that your film might get some distribution, might play in festivals, might be posted on the internet.
I guess in a way, when you're filming, you're kind of hoping that something really deep will come out, but at the same time you don't, because you care about the person you're interviewing and you hope that they have had an amazing life, but they didn't. So maybe if you're lucky, they'll be willing to share that and be willing to show, to to let their story help other people.
Sometimes you have to have situational ethics apply. There's no hard and fast, black and white in terms of a lot of ethical decisions.
So, is there anything in your movie so far that you're at all like worried about?
Worried about showing?
Yeah, like
I'm not sure yet. I hope that, let's think. I mean, Kamiko spoke about how she like smoked and drank and was involved in like negative things, but she said it with such confidence that I really don't think she would care if I put that in at all. Like, I kind of think she would expect me to.
It's easy to show, oh, this school's great, this school does a positive job, but showing what happened before and why these students are at the school, that can be really risky. And like someone can say, oh, well, I came from a really hard past, like I have no family support at home, but to show that would be very controversial.
I think that what I need to do is spend more time there kind of building more relationships, because I still feel awkward walking around the school with a camera, because I mean, people still ask me, what are you doing? Why are you, because they obviously know I don't go to the school. It's a kind of small, inclusive environment. And so I think it takes like a courage to just be there.
To get this action footage and this B-roll that's effective, you have to be present. So it's not just that you have the camera, but you have to be almost part of what's happening. You have to, and they always say, like, if you want great shots of a dance, you take your camera out onto the dance floor. That's where you get the shot. And in documentary, you have to participate in some way, and that is scary.
I think there is a naivete about what's really involved in making a documentary. Many people have the misconception that you can just shoot and spend a little time editing and you end up with a presentable movie. The average first-time filmmaker doesn't have any idea what's really involved. This is really a character-building period for documentary makers.
This could just be me talking, but I feel like I've seen it with almost every other creative person I know, that creativity kind of sparks when deadlines approach, and when it's the 12th hour and it's due in 5 minutes, you just kind of go for it.
Editing can definitely change the meaning of a situation, the meaning of somebody's statement. You can use editing to completely distort and manipulate reality.
You would have that power to take certain points that both subjects are making, and when you cut it side by side, you can call into question what I'm talking about. You can make me look foolish, and so you have to always be sensitive.
Have horrible family lives. Most
Relationship. I think when students don't develop any kind of relationship with their subject, then you're making a critical mistake there.
The filmmaker's responsibility is just to be fair and honest in the editing, to not distort anything that was said or that had happened, and to strive for truthfulness and honesty in the final depiction. Truth is subjective. There's many truths. What you can hope for and request in a documentary filmmaker is that he or she has done their homework and has based their decision about what is true on significant in-depth research. My advice is to be true to your own sense of what is true after your research. You don't have to tell every side of the story, but you have to acknowledge complexity and you have to acknowledge more than one perspective.
Anya having to sit in front of her computer and look at all this footage and be aware and think about what her personal obligations are to the people in the film, and at the same time always be concerned about what's forwarding the story, what makes it more energized or entertaining or emotional.
As I went through the process of going and taking the interviews, I kind of found a new direction on my film, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm really happy about it.
Almost always with these documentary projects, when someone sits down and watches what's been produced, they're very, very grateful for the time and effort and the professional approach that the students give the work.
The whole world lives with technology, but us specifically, we live in Silicon Valley, where some of the most influential technological companies in the world are based right here producing technology. I think that the fact that we're using this technology for a social good, and we're we're documenting nonprofits doing good work, we're using the social media to make a positive impact in the world, I think that that's really important.
There's no question that young filmmakers can now make powerful edited documentaries and reach a broad audience much easier and inexpensively than they ever could in the past, and I think that's to be celebrated.
We have these resources, why not make something positive out of them?